What we're seeing in this initial stage of AI, it's a lot of companies using AI as an excuse for right-sizing their workforces because they simply hired too many people after the pandemic. But for real evidence of what AI is doing, look to the college graduate unemployment rate going up.
Is there a shift, I guess, as economists like to call it, in a curve because of the AI situation? Is it different this time in the employment thing because of the AI situation? If AI, and nobody knows, including me, what it's going to look like. But if AI becomes the thing that, or even half of the thing that we are told it's going to become, where it's going to replace all the workers because everybody's going to be so damn efficient, does that change? Like, are we looking at something from before that is not the future? Like, is the future different because of that? And so therefore, maybe we're looking at the wrong thing?
Well, first of all, what we're seeing in this initial stage of AI, it's a lot of companies using AI as an excuse for right-sizing their workforces because they simply hired too many people after the pandemic. But for real evidence of what AI is doing, look to the college graduate unemployment rate going up. Look to fewer new entrants into the job market as AI fully displaces professions that existed 5 years ago. And, that to me is where the real danger lies, because we have to have new entrants to the workforce. We have to have people begin to climb the career ladder. Without it, the economy slowly atrophies from the inside out. And, the more companies learn how to adapt to an AI world, the greater the risk is going to be that they're going to continue to replace positions with AI. Now, does AI make the existing and remaining employees more productive? Of course it does. It carries great potential to do so. But, you're hearing more and more anecdotes about people helping implement AI wherever they happen to be working and then losing their jobs because they've trained AI so well, it's replaced them. So there will be productivity gains because of AI. There's absolutely no question about it. I write about history every single week. I'm able to conduct the research about the history that I'm writing about much more efficiently than I was before. So it saves me time. I get to do more at work. I get to produce more. I understand that. But there's going to have to be a moment in which we have to determine what the next major employer is going to be despite living in an AI world. Because the solution can't just be, at least in the United States of America, when you consider a democracy, when you consider the foundations of capitalism, it can't just be creating generations of people who don't work and paying them to not work. That's not what this country's about.
That part has never made sense to me. There's two things, obviously, that a lot of people talk about that are cynical about it. First of all, if you replace everybody from working, then who's going to buy the stuff that your AI things are making, right? So that's a weird one. The other weird one to me is the one that Musk keeps pushing, and all due respect to Elon Musk, the guy has done all right for himself. This idea that, we're going to be paid not to work and that's going to be great. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because how do we decipher between, I'm going on a trip tomorrow, who gets to sit in first class and who gets to sit in economy, and who has to sit in economy class, right? The people with more money get to sit in first class, who gets to live in the mansion and who has to live, in the double wide, it has to be determined by who has made more money, rightly or wrongly, right? That's what capitalism is. So if we're all sitting there not working, getting paid not to work, then where does that value of exchange come from? I don't get it.
It begins to collapse. Look, Henry Ford was a wise enough man to say, if I produce automobiles that my employees can purchase, then I'm going to sell a lot more cars.
Right.
It was a pretty simple way of thinking. And the idea of paying people to not work, you're going to end up with the cliche of angry masses. And that'll be problematic in and of itself as well. Again, I think AI can do a lot to educate students better than they've ever been educated. That's a great thing, because education in America sucks. I think AI can do a lot to help alleviate and decrease the expense of healthcare in America. Great. We need to save money on that too. It also sucks. So I think the potential to improve our lives is definitely there. We've got to educate our kids to grow up and do something. And educating our kids to grow up and do nothing makes no sense. There is no country under such circumstances.
It's a very, very difficult subject. It really is. I have this discussion with my kids a lot. My kids love to travel, because when they were growing up, I always loved to travel. So I bring them everywhere. And it's like, if you can put a whatever into your brain and make it feel like you just went to Italy, and the brain reaction is exactly the same as if you actually went. The memory is exactly the same as if you actually went, right? I mean, it's all just in your brain, how something tastes, how something sounds, how something looks. It's all a function of your brain. If Elon can stick a thing in my brain and make me feel like I just did those things, is that real? Like, what's real? I don't know. And it's a very off topic.
I mean, these are deeply existential questions.
Yes, they are.
It's
they
not.
are. But my point is, if that's true, then isn't all these other things? I just don't know. I always have to say I'm glad to know that I'm old enough that I'll be dead before we find out all these things anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old enough to understand all of these things. I really am. But you're talking about Italy, my home country, and just the peace when I'm there. I prefer to experience that firsthand.
You think you do, but what if you don't know the difference? I mean, I like to believe what you're saying because I love to travel and I know the feeling of going to a beautiful place and being like, wow, being in the middle of Tuscany, being like, you cannot have this anywhere else, and as cliche as Tuscany and all that is, everyone comes home, oh, Tuscany, blah, blah, blah. Go there and you'll understand damn well why everybody says that, okay?
I am. In August, I'm counting days. So, but still, that you describe, though, is of a very controlled population. It's not what America should be.
I don't know. My problem is, again, I'm just taking the other side. I happen to agree with you. But that is what people have always said. Every generation throughout history has always said, this generation is not how things should be. I just had a conversation with someone on Twitter the other day where they were like, growing up in the 90s, you know what I mean? It was nothing like growing up now. We got to do this and that and the other thing, and these kids don't do shit. And I'm like, well, I grew up in the 80s, and the people that I knew were saying the same thing about growing up in the 80s versus growing up in the 50s. And the people in the 50s were saying the same thing about growing up in the 20s. You know what I mean? Elvis Presley, when he first came out, was seen as the devil. The Beatles, compared themselves to Jesus. They were burning their records. Now I go in my kids' elementary school is doing a tribute to the Beatles. I mean, things over the generations change,
They do.
And the old fogies, which I am now becoming, are always cynical about the change. I mean, isn't this always the case? Now, this happens to be a very big change, rather than getting on a plane and going to Italy, just sticking something in your ears and feeling like you went to Italy. That's a very big change. It's hard to imagine or get used to, but I don't know. I just don't know.
I mean, look, I have 3 boys and a girl. My 18-year-old girl, her Spotify age is 73.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know what that means, but
that means the kind of music that she listens to implies that she's 73 years old.
Nice.
So she goes
got
back.
the Zeppelin going.
She loves Frank Sinatra. She just has, I have great faith in the human mind and the idea of the human mind being controlled.
It's scary.
It's scary and
depressing.
It's all of those things, but I like to think if we can think for ourselves, and obviously if my 18-year-old is listening to music and some app thinks she's 73 years old, then clearly she's
there's hope
for herself. And maybe there is hope.
Yeah. And it's a good point. I just lost my train of thought about what the good point was, but
because you've got like Frank Sinatra singing My Way in the back of your mind. So,
but now she can go to a Frank Sinatra concert. She can, what she wouldn't be able to do before, right? Can't she?
Well, I mean, we are looking at tickets